Hello, I'm Sarah the Gallifreyan Ravenclaw. So this video is a bit different to some of my others because this is a compilation of some of my older videos, because this was something I talked about in sort of half of a couple of videos. So I thought I'd do a compilation of all the bits so you don't have to go searching for them before I add an update on the end. So these ones were filmed last year prior to me getting this new camera, so they will be the smaller frame. So hopefully it doesn't look too weird. So the quality will obviously be different. So I'm sure you've read the title. It's all the videos about Disney Plus and how the whole thing seems to have worked. And I will obviously get into all the things that at the time of recording those I didn't know. So also just a quick channel update at the beginning. So videos, I always aim for weekly. I'm not going to be succeeding with that at the moment. But I'm making sure my community posts are regular, so I've got every 3 days a poll and every 3 days the quiz, with them being the quiz the day after the polls. I've also been putting up a number of more because I've been putting up all those ones when my video went slightly bonkers. So welcome if you found my channel by that. I'd never expected that video to go quite so viral. Like, when I was watching a YouTube video earlier on my TV, which I am not signed in on, I watched another Doctor Who video and then got recommended that video and went, that's just me as a general guest who's watched a couple of Doctor Who videos on this account. So that was mind-blowing for me to be recommended that. So thank you everyone for that video going absolutely bonkers. But on with the topic of this video. So I have put underneath them the dates that those bits were said, so some things may now be known to be factually incorrect, but at the time they were accurate. So I'll see you for the update at the end. So the other thing. I know I don't really do news updates, but this is something that I feel has been going on for so long it kind of needs to be addressed now. All the mess with Disney Plus. So the renumbering and all the confusion it's causing. So, as you can probably tell, I'm from the UK. I still live in the UK. So, Disney Plus isn't really an issue for me. I do actually have it anyway, but Doctor Who's not probably going to be on it. They still haven't actually even confirmed that, to be fair. But because it's on iPlayer, we don't need it in Disney Plus. But it's being a big issue for a lot of Whovians. So first there was the mess with the Whoniverse, because they did all this big announcement of the whole Whoniverse. And then they announce it and release it and everyone goes, where is it? It's only on iPlayer. Right, you never said that. So that's obviously led to more people worrying about this sort of thing. So Shooty's now been confirmed as he will start in season 1. Which lots of people had suspected. I'm not a fan, but I understand why. I understand why they've done it, but it does seem a bit weird. It's like, look at this new show we're launching with these 3 specials. Oh, ignore the fact they're called the 60th anniversary. It's a new show. Don't worry. Huh? Like, what? Because they're not acknowledging New Who or even Classic. They're just all pretending it's never been on before. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, well, they did the same in 2005. I was 4. I can't vouch for the marketing. And yes, it was called Series 1. But it had been 20 years without a series then. We're at like 13 months this time. It's barely been a year. And there was never it got cancelled and then came back, which it was last time. But then in New Who, they obviously had like Sarah Jane and School Reunion and Time Crash happened quite early on. So with all the Donna and Mel, are they really going to try and pretend the last 2 eras never happened? And so the Whoniverse stuff on iPlayer. I haven't watched much Tales of the TARDIS. I started one and realised how long it was and didn't have time to finish it. Or I haven't seen many classic episodes anyway. I'm really bad at getting on with that. I've been trying to for years. And then there was like Canine Company, which I was very happy to see on there because I don't believe that's ever been on iPlayer before. It might have been when it was originally on, but I certainly have never seen it before. But then not offering all this for the international viewers is a big slap in the face. So everyone's been using America as the example, probably because Disney's American. But like HBO still have the streaming rights for episodes prior to the 60th. I believe they have both classic and New Who. Correct me if I'm wrong, they certainly have New Who. And that contract hasn't expired yet. They've got another year or two on it. And I believe the strikes have also caused negotiation problems. But if I was working for Disney and I was in charge of dealing with this is what I'd be doing. Start with New Who. Go country by country. Every single country in the entire world that they operate in. Have they ever had Doctor Who before? Who had the rights to it? Were they streaming it, or did they only have broadcast rights? Has their contract expired? What date does it expire if it's still valid? Once you have these answers for each question, for each country, then go to every country that the deal has already expired and go, we want the exclusive rights to New Who in this country. Sign here. For the countries that still have one, like America, so I don't know when the HBO one expires. Let's say it expires 31st of December 2024. I don't know when it does, but let's say that's the expiry date. From the 1st of January 2025, Disney have the exclusive rights at double the price of whatever they were paying before. Which would probably be quite feasible. They can just go, we'll double whatever they were paying. And HBO will probably go, yeah, we can't afford to fight that. They can have it. Then, once you've got that done for every single country, doesn't have to be you waited for those dates. Once you've got a contract in every single country, either valid from whenever or valid from the day the previous one expires, you do an announcement. Go, from 1st of October, we have New Who available in every country that doesn't already have it. Keywords. Then underneath, you say it will be available in Disney Plus by, 1st of October. It will be available in most countries on the 1st of October, and it will be available in all countries by the 1st of January, due to the current deals. Then below have a list of all the countries that aren't getting it on the 1st of October. So you say USA, still owned by HBO till 1st of January 2025, when we have it, basically. So you just do it like that. And then once you've done that for New Who, you do Classic, you do Torchwood, you do Sarah Jane, you do Class, everything. And then, like with Tales of the TARDIS, Russell, in the bottom of some Instagram comment, confirmed, see, it wasn't exactly easy to find, that Tales of the TARDIS isn't outside the UK because no Disney money went into it. Okay, why hasn't he gone, who wants to buy it? And if Disney say, no, we're not interested, okay, HBO, ABC, whoever else broadcast it in whatever country you're from, do you want to buy it? Offer it at a reasonable price for them? Do they want it? I don't think many of them would say no. Let's be honest. I think if you offered it at a pretty low price, they'd take it. Like, I know Disney haven't put any money in it, so they aren't getting it. Doesn't mean they can't pay him for it. Like, it wouldn't go into Russell personally, but like pay Bad Wolf Productions for the rights. Because currently it's not available anywhere else. And if he's setting that precedent, there's going to be a problem. Same with Unleashed. Like, the first episode's out now, so if you're not in the UK, can you please tell me if it is available in Disney Plus? But seeing as the episode wasn't, I don't know why the Unleashed would be. So, are the Unleashed for the 60th going to be? Because Disney can't have put money into those Unleashed. Well, certainly not the original. They might have been able to in the post-production, which I believe they also did for the 60th. But they were only on set at the 60th. They weren't there paying for the cameraman to be there. That was coming out of Bad Wolf or BBC's pocket. So, is it possible that they're not going to have the ones for the 60th, but then they will for season 1? So then you miss the first 4 episodes? So then the confusion's over time zones and what time everything's releasing on Disney Plus. So time zones are confusing anyway. Most people will agree that. When you're abroad, you have to try and factor in, if you're calling back home, what time it is, so not call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone knows that that can be a nightmare. But, like, all the announcements said, the 60th will be available on the 25th. But if it's available on the 25th in Australia, it's not 6:30 here yet. And it doesn't start till 6:30 here. So that would mean Australia are getting it first. And I'm sure any Australians watching would go, yes, we want that. There's a problem. If someone at Disney messes up and it gets released an hour early because of daylight saving time, like they mess up and put it an hour wrong, how many people will turn on a VPN and start watching it on Disney Plus? How many people in the UK will turn on a VPN to leave the UK and start watching it? Start watching it before it starts. And then they're not turning on their TV to BBC One. They're not watching it on iPlayer. Then the viewing figures drop. And BBC go, okay, this big relaunch didn't work. It's all flopped. Shelve it. We're not showing it again. Cancelled. All that footage of shooties going in the bin. Right. They're banking a lot on this. So if it was released on Disney beforehand, that's going to be a problem. Because the BBC will go, oh, it's a waste of time. It's still a BBC production. And there's another concern I've had for ages, which no one else seems to have addressed. Let's say that this wasn't the 60th, but Power of the Doctor. Just so it's an episode we've seen, so I can make references to it. How do you stop the minute it starts in the UK and it's available on Disney Plus around the rest of the world? You go fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Oh my god, it's David Tennant! Video. Post on social media. It started 5 minutes ago. How do you stop that? Let's say Shooty or Matt does turn up at the end of an episode. How do you stop people fast forwarding to the last 30 seconds to post spoilers online? Like, do Disney Plus have some sort of live stream feature where you can't fast forward past a certain point, where it's live, and that live be in sync with BBC? Maybe give or take a few seconds, but be basically playing at the same time as BBC and you can't fast forward past it. I don't know if Disney Plus has that feature. If they don't, then they probably can't release the episode until after it's finished in the UK. Which then gives an hour for people in the UK to spoil it for international viewers. So basically, these details are being forgotten every time. All these big announcements. Oh, we're releasing the Hooniverse. Oh, we forgot to say it's only on BBC iPlayer. Oh, we're doing this. Oh no, that's only on BBC iPlayer. Oh, it's all on the 25th. Sorry, but it's going to be the 26th in Australia if it's the same time. That sort of problem. Are Disney Plus planning on getting the whole Hooniverse? Are they planning on putting up New Who once they've got the rights to it in every country? It'd be nice for them to let us know they're trying to do that. That when HBO and everyone else's contracts have expired, they are taking it. But I said I'd release it once they have a majority. Like, if they've signed a contract in every country that doesn't have someone else with the rights, and the countries that do have someone else with the rights, they just have a contract from that the day after, then announce it, release them in all the countries they can. And then it's available everywhere because the Americans still have it on HBO, and then from that date it moves to Disney. And there's one other thing. I know Who Culture have been talking about this because they're suffering from this problem. I had a conversation with someone in the comments section the day the Disney deal was announced, of saying, I'm from the Republic of Ireland, we can't access BBC iPlayer, and it keeps saying UK and Ireland, am I not going to be able to access it? And that's the thing, they haven't said it. All these announcements, it's UK and Ireland. I get Americans, and quite a few Brits, get confused with North and Southern Ireland. Southern Ireland is the Republic of Ireland. It is not in the UK. They cannot access BBC iPlayer. I think they do have a version of BBC One, but is it going to be on Disney Plus Republic of Ireland? Like I said, Disney's an American company. Brits get confused with it, let alone people from other countries. But, so I get the American person working on it at Disney doesn't get it. But someone from the BBC needs to have said that. They are perfectly aware that they cannot access BBC iPlayer. So they need to make sure that they're covering that. And I said, Who Culture have been addressing this because one of their presenters is from Southern Ireland. And currently, he doesn't even know if he's going to be able to watch the episodes. See, it's been all these tiny details that just slip through the cracks. They make this big announcement, everyone gets excited. And then you read the fine print. And it doesn't add up. And there's all these things missing. And there's all these confirmations that don't make any sense. Or it gets released and everyone goes, hang on a minute, where is it? How can the Star Beast be airing on the 25th the whole way around the world at the same time? Because it won't be the 25th in half the world. How are people from Southern Ireland supposed to watch it? Are Disney Plus ever planning on getting New Who? What do we call the new era? New Who? Modern Who and Disney Who are the ones I've heard currently. I bet they'll announce it now straight after I've recorded this, before I upload it, because I don't know whether I'm going to get it out tonight now. But these problems are glaringly obvious when you actually look into anything. So I said most of these don't affect me because I'm lucky I'm in the UK, I've got iPlayer. But even then, some people in the UK don't use iPlayer because you now need to have a TV license for it, and not everyone has a TV license. So confirmation of whether it's on Disney Plus for those people would be quite helpful as well. Letting us know whether it's going to be on Disney Plus in the UK as well. Because that's something people pointed out quite early. They said it was going to be exclusively on Disney Plus in the rest of the world and on BBC iPlayer in the UK. They never said it wasn't going to be on Disney Plus in the UK. So there's just all these questions that they've not answered. So let me know your thoughts both on the Children in Need special and the Disney Plus deal. If you're outside of the UK and you can give me any more information about what it actually is showing on Disney Plus at the moment. Like I've noticed on iPlayer it's now going to be a separate category. If you look up the programme page, it now has Doctor Who 2023 onwards, and the description for the other one now says till 2022, and from Christopher Eccleston to Jodie Whittaker. So it's going to be down as a separate category on iPlayer, which is just going to confuse more people. You go, oh, I'm looking for that new episode on iPlayer. They go, well, there's Series 1, Season 1, Season 1. Which one's the new one? They need to make that clearer as well. I hope when it actually appears it will be quite obvious because it will probably have a massive picture of Shooty. But for the more casual viewers, just sort of skimming iPlayer looking for it, they're going to have a problem with that. They're going to need something more obvious. Hopefully, if we've come up with a name by then for New Who, they can actually label it that. It might be called like the Whoniverse is Who or something. They could have it like with the Whoniverse logo or something, which makes it slightly more obvious. But I don't know. Hopefully it'll have a massive picture of Shooty and people won't get confused. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on because the picture on iPlayer for the others is a picture of all 5 of them. So Eccleston, Tennant, Matt Smith, Capaldi and Jodie. I know I switch between first names and surnames. It's weird. So is this new one going to have a picture of David or David and Shooty or David at the moment and then Shooty after the Christmas special? I don't know. So I'm going to keep an eye on that because that picture did always change. Before it was the 5 of them, it was a picture from Flux with Jodie's doctor, Yaz and Dan. So we'll see what happens with that. And if you're international and can let me know what it looks like on Disney Plus at the moment. While I'm doing this, I just wanted to touch on, again, in my previous video when I said about all the Disney Plus mess. So, as we've now had, at the time of recording, 2 specials, by the time you see this, probably all 3, we've got some answers to the questions I asked. So I thought I'd just do an update of which ones we now know the answers to and which ones we still don't know the answers to. So, again, I'm in the UK, so this is all second-hand, so do feel free to correct me if I have got anything wrong, and there are a few questions as well for anyone overseas. So, I do believe it dropped on Disney Plus at whatever time 6:30 UK time is for you. Which was the same time it started here. I still don't know if they do have a live stream feature, because unfortunately most of the people I've heard this from are Australian, and that means it dropped between, I think, 2 and 4 a.m. So most of them haven't been watching it at the same time I have, because they're asleep then, which I don't blame them. It's 2 a.m. So if you are watching it on Disney Plus and have actually managed to watch it the same minute it comes on, and you can tell me if there is something that stops you fast forwarding straight to the end, please let me know below. Unleashed still does not appear to be available outside of the UK, which I think is a real shame. If someone can let me know after the Christmas special and the first episode of season 1, if those episodes have now become available on Disney Plus. Although I think it will be rather weird that you'd then be 4 or 5 episodes behind at that point, because I've only really seen 1.5 episodes, but the presenter has been doing a sort of tour of all the different jobs. So then you'd miss half the jobs if you aren't given the whole series. So I think they really should be making sure that's available. I've already said that in my other one, that fine, Disney didn't put any money into it, doesn't mean they can't buy it off Bad Wolf Productions. So I really think Russell needs to do something about that and make sure that is available. If Disney don't want it, sell it to ABC and HBO and whoever else was the Doctor Who distributor in that country beforehand. Also, Doctor Who in the UK on Disney Plus still comes up as empty. I just get Doctor Strange and the Good Doctor if I search Doctor. So it definitely isn't on Disney Plus here, which I said before would be good in a way to then have it for people who don't have TV licenses to still be able to watch it, but I understand that the BBC would want to still be the exclusive ones in the UK, because that means they get the UK figures, because those figures haven't been too bad recently. I said before about the picture on iPlayer for the 2023 onwards series. It is currently David and Catherine on that poster with the like blue and purple light. So I will keep you updated on when that changes. I'm assuming that at some point in between the Giggle and Church and Ruby Road, that picture will change to Shooty, possibly with Millie. And if someone could actually tell me what the picture on Disney Plus currently is, whether they have got just the Whoniverse logo or they've got a picture of David or Shooty, because I'm curious about that and I can't access it as I'm in the UK. And can my Australian viewers, as I know I do have some, confirm whether New Who is actually available right now in Australia, with the exception of like physical media? Is it available anywhere? If so, where? And is that a free streaming service or is that a paid one? Because I've heard some things saying it's not even available anywhere. I don't get why Disney would have stopped ABC having the rights to New Who unless they are trying to procure it, but they haven't said they are. So at the moment, if that's leaving you with nothing, I'm very sorry, because that is a really stupid thing to have done. To have lost all of New Who, so it's not even available. So I'm really hoping someone's doing something about that, if I'm right that it's not currently available at all. And obviously, same goes for any other country. If you have lost the ability to see New Who by the Disney deal, and obviously we know that New Who is not on Disney Plus yet, then do let me know below and what country you're from and where it used to be available. And if you can find anything about their contract and go, oh, well, they had a contract but it expired last December, then that would be interesting to know, because I'm hoping Disney are doing what I said they should be doing. And they are trying to get New Who. Because if they've taken the rights away from other people and not allowing other countries to show it, there must be something going on there. So if you are overseas and have answers to any of these questions, do let me know down below. Or if you have any other questions, anything I haven't thought of that is a problem for you with it being on Disney Plus. I assume Disney Plus is probably quite good at international subtitles. If you need the subtitles in French or something, I assume it's quite good at that. But if that is now harder for you to access if you're not that good at English, I'm hoping you understand some English, otherwise you're not going to be understanding me right now anyway. But if you or a family member needs subtitles in another language, is that easily accessible? What about sign language, audio description? I'm hoping those are all alright, but if you have been having any problems with anything like that, that would be interesting to find out as well. So this isn't Disney Plus bashing, it's just trying to find out what all the problems that people have been having are, and then we can work as a group to see if we can find out any answers, and if I get any answers I will be putting them on my next ones, because I have been messaging a few people in comment sections asking these questions to try and get some answers. So now for the update, the new bit. So as I did put in one of the captions as I got the answer while I was editing, fast forwarding is possible on Disney Plus. As soon as the episode starts in the UK and it drops on Disney Plus, there's nothing blocking you from fast forwarding straight to the end. It's like, I know By Generation had been leaked a bit beforehand, but it was actually possible that 50 odd minutes before that actually happened in the UK, that the entire video could have been posted online. So if you are watching any episode not at the time it's dropping and at the time it's been broadcast in the UK, obviously be aware for spoilers straight from the beginning, not going, oh it's fine, it's only halfway through, there's no spoilers at the moment. Because that clip could have easily been posted 50 odd minutes beforehand. So I assume this will be the same for the entirety of season 1. So yeah, if you're not watching it at the time it's broadcast in the UK, be aware of spoilers straight away. If you are watching it on the BBC in the UK, then just don't be on your phone, because people may be spoiling it from Disney Plus. In the last one, I asked people in other countries to let me know whether you could actually access New Who. I did say Australia, I was hearing that you couldn't. I got an answer that it is on Binge and Stan, both of which cost, and for some reason only have series 4 to 12 and no specials, which seems rather weird. So that's very annoying that you're missing a significant chunk of episodes, because that's most of David Tennant's run and the most recent series, and if that means no specials, like no Christmas specials or anything throughout, that's really bad. So Classic is still on BritBox, to my knowledge, which is available in most countries around the world, so that's fine, but the fact that New Who isn't anywhere else is slightly concerning. I said from before, I assume that if Disney are stopping other people having New Who, it's because they're trying to get it, but if other people have half of New Who, that's just going to make it more confusing. I was hoping by now Disney might have announced something about, oh yes, we've got it, we'll be releasing it at the same time as season 1 or something. But we haven't heard anything still, and that's only 3 months away now. So at the moment I'd take that as probably Disney aren't planning on getting it, which is really unfortunate if they have stopped it being on whatever it was on beforehand in your country. So I said, I know HBO still have it in America at the moment, but I don't know when that deal runs out, and if Disney might stop them being able to renew that. I'm also fairly certain that Unleashed still isn't available outside of the UK, which is really stupid. So there's now been 5 episodes, because the pilot was for the Children in Need sketch, and then there's been one for each of the 60th and for Church on Ruby Road. And that does contain different stuff to the YouTube videos. I have watched both, and there is very little crossover between them. So you do kind of need to see both. And obviously for the 60th and Church on Ruby Road, there were also the video commentaries. There was one for Church on Ruby Road there was Russell, one of the producers, I've forgotten his name, and Millie Gibson, sitting on the Sunday's sofa watching the episode, ironically. But those still seem to be UK exclusive. So I don't know whether they will be any for season 1. I would say probably not for every episode. Maybe Shooty will do one for the next Christmas special or something. So I really hope they do a box set, maybe the Steelbook or something, which has like the 60th collection, which has all 3 60th episodes, the Unleashed for them, the video commentaries for them, and Tales of the TARDIS. I don't know whether they'd count Church on Ruby Road with that or with season 1, because they have appeared to have labelled it as Special 4, which does seem a bit stupid. So I'd assume box set wise it will probably come out with season 1, but they may choose to put it on the 60th because it was still only a few weeks later. I did say in some of the previous ones about how much the BBC have been banking on this, but I realised I didn't really explain for anyone outside the UK what I mean. So I haven't seen much in the shops. Like, I'm sure you all know that iconic picture from like 2007 where it was that entire shelf. I haven't seen stuff like that. There has been some stuff, but it's still pretty much the B&M collections I've still seen and that sort of thing. But online I have seen a lot more. Like, Jodie did appear on some of the programmes promoting different episodes with some of the companions, but I don't recall Chibnall ever appearing on anything. And I know half her era was during COVID, so that's probably not a very fair comparison, but shows like The One Show and Breakfast were still running throughout that time. Yes, guests tended to be virtual, but they were still running. Yet, in the last few months, it has been impossible to watch anything without Russell, David, Millie, Shooty appearing on it. Like, the week before the Star Beast, David and Russell did the entire rounds. They were on The One Show, so half of that One Show was Doctor Who themed. They were on Morning Live, they were on Breakfast, they were on the radio. They just kept appearing everywhere. Basically, you couldn't get away from them. If you were watching anything BBC, they probably turned up. They were on Graham Norton, and Breakfast had entire reports about it, despite the fact David was stupidly busy at the time because he was in the middle of rehearsing a play. And then the week before Christmas, Shooty and Millie did exactly the same thing. They appeared on everything. There was an interview with Shooty on Breakfast, then an hour later Millie was in the studio. And there was an entire programme with a documentary of basically Russell's life story released in between the 60th and Christmas special. And also, like, just the adverts for it. Like, obviously it was always advertised on BBC One, but it was, like, only occasional adverts. They've been a lot more regular for a longer period of time, and they haven't just been on BBC One. They've been on most of the channels. So I get why people have sort of been saying, oh, Doctor Who's back, because he does much more publicity heavy, which is just a very big difference between how Russell and Chibnall run the show. Chibnall was always very secretive, the same as he was for like Broadchurch. So he had very few spoilers get out. So he did very little promotional stuff himself. He left that to the actors. Whereas Russell will go on everything, say whatever he likes, and I don't think I need to tell you, spoilers have been a ridiculous problem. There was that one circulating where they basically just read the scripts for the entire 60th and Church on Ruby Road, and someone wrote a summary of them, and that was going around the internet 2 months before it aired. But I see why people have been saying Doctor Who is back, because it was all over the TV, front and centre on iPlayer with the Whoniverse stuff, or just the episodes, so pictures of Shooty turning up everywhere. And, well, my recommended page was full of it, but that might be for a different reason. I did say on the previous one about the picture of iPlayer, so there was the Whoniverse logo for the entire thing that then you had Torchwood and Sarah Jane and everything in. And the picture for the 2023 onwards one was David and Catherine, and then turned to Shooty at some point early December. I didn't quite notice the exact date. I think it was about the 10th, so I've got the pictures, so I'll put them on the screen now. So that was what it looked like before the 60th, and then it looked like this afterwards. And that's what it still currently looks like, and will probably remain like that for a while. I don't think they're going to bother to change it to a picture with him and Millie, especially with the rumours that she's not going to be the main companion in the second series. I think just keeping it as just the Doctor is probably the better plan. I just want to say one other thing about Disney Plus and the different things they've been doing there. So this is a clip from the end of Church on Ruby Road that hopefully doesn't get copyrighted.
I'm the Doctor.
Did you see? The box thing. It just vanished.
was there, and then it wasn't. It just disappeared.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Abdul. Stop making such a fuss. Never seen a TARDIS before.
If you watched the episode on Disney Plus, you might not have seen that before looking like that. I believe it played a trailer for This Is Now the Home of Doctor Who at some point in the middle of that. If someone could either find a way to send me the clip or point me in the direction of some other video that someone has uploaded, the Disney Plus version, then I'd be interested to see that, because that is a big difference and they actually changed that. This has been very negative about Disney's input, whereas there actually was some positive impact that they put specifically into these Church on Ruby Road. They sort of only visited set in the 60th, so they weren't too involved in that in the early stages. But when but for the Church on Ruby Road, they had a taster audience watch it, and they went, we want to see the Doctor earlier on, which was why that snowman scene was filmed so much later. Because I remember at the time, with the filming pictures, everyone was going, is this the next Christmas special then? I thought they finished filming the Christmas special months ago. So it was because Disney asked Russell to add an extra scene earlier with the Doctor in, even if there were some words in that scene that the Americans at Disney did not understand. Fit means like hot, attractive, and pram, buggy, baby carrier. I don't really know what the American word is for that, but that was actually a good input, because you could also tell in that scene that actually Ncuti was more experienced at being the Doctor by that point. So it was a good first scene, and it also involved him explaining the Sonic, which without it was only that bit on the Goblin ship with Ruby. And obviously they were doing all this marketing as, oh, Ncuti Gatwa's playing this part, and then he doesn't appear for most of it, apart from just sort of standing in the club for 5 minutes. So that was a good contribution from them. So if they make more suggestions like that Russell takes on board, that will be a good thing. Just wish they'd sort out what they're doing with New Who. So I did say in the previous one of sort of, if you've got any other information along these lines that I don't know about, I said I live in the UK, I don't necessarily know all these things, I just sort of hear secondhand. So if there are any other problems you've been having, or anything that is now easier to get because of the Disney deal, just sort of let me know, and if I do ever make another update, I will include those facts. Like, are there countries that still don't have New Who since Disney took over, apart from like DVD releases? And how much else of the Whoniverse are you able to access? I assume Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures and stuff aren't accessible either, but hopefully by the new spin-offs, when they get confirmed and released, that they will be available. But Unleashed does seem like the weird one that's still missing. So I will see whether when season 1 starts it gets counted in, but I wouldn't see why it will be counted in at season 1 over not being at the 60th. So we'll see about that. So as I said at the beginning, videos may not be that regular on this channel at the moment, but I'll be keeping the community posts up. I'm scheduling them far in advance, so I know that they're all right and going out no matter what, even when I'm busy. So other than that, thank you for watching. Bye.